my gardening journey began since I was a child actually. So when I was in school or in the bus, I always look at trees and I always been inspired or I always admire them. So I knew I had a calling for plants for a very long time. But the hobby itself started about 15 years ago, and I started like collecting plants from the void deck. And before you know it, it exploded in my house on the dining table. Too many plants, and I got chased out basically. And then when I found a plot in Punggol, I was advised that if you want to get the plot, you have to start a business. So they kind of pushed me to open a business to secure the plot. And that's how Littlebotany became a business. So the business started from the dining table. It's basically just cuttings that we've grown from my garden, and because so much I have to find a new home for them. So I started selling my cuttings online on Instagram, and I was really a hobbyist by then. So people knew like me as Littlebotany as a hobbyist. And when the cuttings grew and I had more following, more people wanted more plants. So I started propagating a lot more, and then started importing plants even from overseas by then. And then when we ran out of space, that's when I started looking for the plot, and we found Punggol, and it just exploded from there. So as a hobbyist, I started out, I think, just loving plants as a child, looking at trees and just admiring them. I'm that kid in the bus that's always looking outside the window, not to be a main character or anything, but just to look at the leaves. And that's why I think that's a sign that told me that I love plants. I found a plant at the void deck, and I just picked it up. It was a money tree, and it was just like bald, just a giant long stem. And I thought, you know what, let me just try this, help this plant out. And then within 2 weeks, it was growing really well. And while I was taking care of that tree, like I felt that it helped me a lot. When I was younger, I grew up with a lot of anxiety. So when I did gardening, it kind of slows time down for me. It makes me very focused on doing one thing at a time, and I'm not really thinking about so much of the other things. It also helped me to slow down my thoughts and make me process things better when I do gardening. So all the anxiety kind of slides away. So when I realized that, oh my God, like this one tree sort of like healed me in that sense, and it became really addictive. Like I started like rescuing all these other plants, and then while doing so, I got very grounded, very relaxed, very calm, and that helped me throughout my teens. Like I was very anxious as a person. So when doing gardening, kind of helped me with all that. I thought besides just starting a business, when it becomes a business, maybe it's meant to be like a tool to help others as well. So we've been running Littlebotany for 5 years. We are primarily selling small, unique plants. We do a lot of plant workshops, and we do office installations as well. Some of the struggles that we faced, I think just being new in starting something. So my main struggle was building the space, the physical part. I cannot hit a nail straight. I cannot build anything. I'm so bad with tools. So I can envision the space, but I couldn't build it. So I got my friends to help me out. Thankfully, they were the one that helped me did a lot of the drilling, the nailing, and building the structure. At that time, no one was doing any plot work or building plots. So I had no reference for people to ask from. It's all like really by intuition, which I have none at that time. So we had a lot of like mini setbacks, like the things that are not built properly, carpenter running away, and like we had to kind of cope and just build the space. So for me, it was the weather. It was very sunny, it was very rainy, and the ground was very clay, very, very clayey. So it's so hard to build things, and so we just had to improve and improvise and seek professional help. Like I should go and ask actual carpenters, and they were kind enough to give me tips on how to build things, and we just slowly built from there. But at that time we were building, we were never finished. So even when we slowly opened up to the public, we were still building as we go. So the inspiration behind Littlebotany is basically giving a second chance to everything. So all the furnitures here, they've been refurbished and reused. I've never bought anything new, to be honest. Like everything has been picked up or found on Carousel or under the void deck or from someone I know. Truthfully, this hobby brings you to that phase, like where you can be at peace, and while you're gardening, you can feel that serenity. Welcome to my home. This is Littlebotany. So it's our greenhouse. All the plants outside are my favorite plants also. So please don't steal them. Please come in. So this is I would say like my front yard. So this is a part where you can actually look around and look at the plants. There are some that are my own collections and some for sale. So like this big guy over here is my variegated bamboo, provide shelter and shade for the people in here. And these are all my shelves that I refurbish and recycled. You can see that everything is repainted to the color of Littlebotany, which is this turquoise bluish color. There's some purple also, because apparently purple is in trend, so that's why I tried. You can see these are all my own collection over here. I have this guy for 3 years now, and yeah, the variegation is intense. I like variegation, as you can tell. So this is the front yard, sort of. And I'm into handmade pottery as well, so you can see a lot of handmade pottery here. These are all my own collection. I have to put a few not for sale signs. People keep thinking that they can buy this. Please don't take it away from me. I cannot sell it to you. These are all my babies. I've grown them for about 7-8 years now. You can see this dream catcher, my friend made it. So I have a friend that does a lot of macrame as well. You can see a bit of plants hanging around, like air plants, seashells, because it's from my mom. So it's a bit of a sentimental place. It's a lot of things that are from people that I love. And then over here, after this privacy forest here, this is the living room area. So this is a place where we all chill. And then this is a trauma bonding couch. We talk about all our sad stuff together here. And then if you want your IG photos, it can be here. This is a furniture that's from India. And this is made from an actual tree, okay? I love my table. This is also a vintage, if I'm not wrong, it's porcelain or jade, can't remember. But yes, okay, we do a lot of community engagement. So one of them being with young children. So we recently did one for Edgefield Primary School, where the kids get to learn something outside the curriculum about gardening and saving water. So we did like a semi-hydro workshop for the kids, which is quite fun because I think they've not been exposed to that. And the reason why I want to do it, because when I was a kid, we don't have all these awesome like workshops. You know, we do a typical like read a book, study math, and then must pass. You know, and we didn't have enough like development in that sense into what we might like or what we can appreciate as a kid. So when we get the chance to teach kids on gardening, I think that was really fulfilling for me. Personally, like I find that when you're young and you're given a lot of these choices to try something, it can really manifest as something beautiful when you grow up. Like you can be a horticulturist from a very young age. It can push your hobby to a wider range. So having that opportunity for the kids was the one that was very fulfilling. And at primary 2, they just want to do everything that you tell them to do. They won't fight back or question you. So I think I like teaching them in that sense. They absorb everything like a sponge, and they really ask you really interesting questions that really makes you think, wow, you know, primary 2 kids are actually quite smart. And so it's main reason it's very fulfilling for me, and I like to do that school engagements. We also do charities besides doing workshops and just selling plants. We do lots of giving back to the community. I love to do charities is because I think we all should at some point. We are a country of privilege. All of us can just throw a few dollars in every day just to help someone, and I think most of us don't practice that. We go for like larger things like, okay, like maybe we can do this charity awards or things like that, but your day-to-day life, you can contribute $1 or $2, and this is how we do it. You know, we try to tie with the business and the things that we love. We do like plant auctions. With plant auction, I feel like it's the most effective way because you only spend about an hour of your time, and you go on Instagram Live and then you put up this plants for auction from $0. You know, sometimes it's mostly our plants, but we have the people from the community that wants to donate their plants too. This is where it circles back to community, because when it comes to something good, having community behind you will achieve greater things. You know, so from that one plant auction, from a small group of people becomes like 1,000 of people trying to help one organization. So when you align community and charity together, it's almost like they are meant for each other. So through that, we managed to raise a lot of money. Like this year itself, we raised about $30,000 just based on plants. And I don't even have to put a lot of physical work into doing this. You know, it's mainly the people from the community, and I'm just a channel for the organizations to get the money to help the people in need. These are all like plants from my friends. So Zach is one of our part-timer and our friend as well. He loves Hoya, so all his Hoya cuttings are all here. It's a mix about my Hoya and his Hoyas, but he's the Hoya expert. So when he's here, he will talk about the Hoyas. And on this side, this is my friend Platty and Friends. The reason why I have all these different plants that are not mine is because if I'm not good at certain plants, I feel that I should give space for others. And as a business, we can work out as well, but primarily, they are experts in their field, and I want them to showcase their plants. And also, if you get any questions, you can ask them directly, because I'll be giving the wrong answers. So these are the people expert in their field, and they're my friends, and I want them to be in my space. That's why we have all these different plants here. They're not from Littlebotany. And then you can see there's Rain or Shine here. He does succulents and cactus. He's our friend from the west, so we share this space with him at the back. And yeah, more plants here. So it's like the sales racks are all here. My friend that does the macrame that I was telling you about, she sells the macrame here too. So I really like to work with a lot of these like artists, I would say, because they make beautiful things that I cannot make. Hence, that's why they're here. And this is my favorite tree also. This is called Nidosculus Shayamansa. It's actually called a spinach tree, so they are edible. You can actually eat them, but this is too precious, so I won't eat it. And then down here you got all our garden essentials. All these are all a more eco-friendly version of gardening. These are our refill station. You can bring your own bottles and just kind of top up your pesticide or your antifungal or even your fertilizer. You can just put it in a container, and you can save plastics, and it's a good way to do gardening. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, all our pots here are all recycled. We've sold about 20,000 recycled pots. We don't buy any new pots, so we try to be as eco-friendly as we can. So all the pots are recycled in Littlebotany. Okay. And yeah, so this is our cashier area. As you can see, I converted my cashier area to also plant space. It's all my own collection here. So yeah, they're not for sale, but yeah, you can touch them though. A community for me means a safe space. A safe space where you can come in and enjoy your things that you love without being judged, without having any preconceived notion of what you're supposed to do or what you shouldn't know or what you should know. And a place where you can totally geek out and nobody will think that, you know, you're so geeky for this or you're so stupid for doing this. So basically it's a safe space for a group of individuals to come together, making more friends. I think at the end of the day, just making more friends. I made a lot of lifelong friends in the community just by having the same interests, you know. That's why I'm very big on community, because you're not alone when you are in this community. So the reason why I want to start a community, especially in Singapore, is because most of our plant knowledge we get is all from overseas. At that point in time, we have no reference or no knowledge of how we can grow things locally. So when I started Littlebotany, I wanted to impart like knowledge that's relevant to growing things in Singapore. And that's where we realized that, hey, we all got the same problem. All our plants are dying, and we are following the things that we see online. Why is it not working out? So having that community is important because we learn and grow with each other. And on top of that also, like I said, it's like a tool to help others, right? Like for me, gardening helps me. So when I want them to come to this community, I want to know how it can benefit them or help them in their journey. You know, like if they're going through something that's really bad, or if they're just bored, you know, it can be many things. But as long as they start with one plant that can, you know, probably ultimately lead to happiness for them, hopefully, in the short term or even in the long run. And hopefully they bring this tool forward to others, and it just keeps going and going and going. Okay, so this is Kebun Dapur. It's our neighbor. They have a lot of edibles here, as you can see. They grow a lot of Malay edibles they use for cooking, and they want to educate the public about herbs that you can use for your Malay dishes. But primarily inside is where we do our workshop space. Oh yeah, this is Cotton, by the way. He's our neighborhood chicken. Also like a guard dog for this place. Yeah, so this is the area. This is where we primarily do our workshop space. They want it to be more like a dining area, so that you feel at home when you're doing your workshops. So yeah, this is our workshop space, and a lot of things are very Malay culture and inspired. So how can Littlebotany grow from today onwards? We try to grow organically. We try not to push the business so hard, because at the end of the day, we are selling plants and we're creating communities, so it has to be genuine and sincere. So I started dwelling in technology recently and tried my hand in selling plants in a vending machine, and apparently it worked out. Okay, so we've been testing semi-hydro, like the glass bowls you see over here. We've been testing it out for about almost a year, and then we realized that, hey, this works out. The plants are happy growing in there, and I thought, hey, why not put them in vending machines? Because it's all nice and glass and there's no soil, so upkeep will be easy. You only water once a week, And then just nice when I was thinking about that, one of my customers actually approached me and said, hey, I got a vending machine, do you want to try? And it's really by chance. I wasn't even planning to look for a vending machine at that time. And I said, hey, okay, let's try it out. And then he imported the vending machine into Singapore. And the fun thing about it, I get to design and draw it. So if you see all the graphics on the vending machine, it's all my artwork. So that's kind of a selfish reason too, like I can draw and enjoy the process. And then when the machine is ready, we tested out the plants and we just put it at Suntec City. We tried at a busy space. At the time, we didn't have any like plan or where to put it. So I thought, okay, Suntec City is a good space to try because it's a big crowd. And then it sold really well the first week. I had to top it up weekly now. Now it's weekly, every week top it up. And now we have 3 vending machines that's running. We have 2 more that's opening up soon. And all the future vending machines, they're aligned with a lifestyle. For example, food, coffee, or animals, hopefully. So we try to see if we can tie different communities together. Like I say, it goes back to community. We want to grow, we want to intertwine the communities with other communities. So food and plants, coffee and plants, So in that sense, the community grows. We poison more people to try to enjoy plants and maybe get free coffee out of it. But yeah, so the vending machine was a good idea, I think. It's also sustainable. You only use $30 of electricity every month. Yeah. And you don't have to send someone down there. The plants can live in the vending machine like an actual home for them. And I had one plant that nobody bought. It grew so much that I had to take it out. Like it was covering the entire box. I have to take it out already. And now it's in my house. Yeah, so the vending machine is one way for us to grow as a business. Okay, so Littlebotany does indoor plantscaping too. It might sound like a business where I go to offices and say, hey, I want to plug in trees here and all that. But actually there's a selfish reason to it. There's some trees that I cannot grow in the space here because they get too big or it's too hot here. And I will kind of squeeze these plants into my office installation. Like, and then every week when my gardeners go down to water, they send me a photo. I'm like, oh, it grows, it's kind of my own private spaces in this space, in these offices and shops that we built the indoor plantscaping for. Secondly, the reason why we do that is because I feel that we can be more sustainable in office setups. A lot of plants in the office, they kind of replace and throw away or bring it back for recuperation and then replace with a new one. And I respect living things and I think that they are important and I don't want that to happen to my plants where they come back sad. So my idea of doing indoor scaping is to make sure the plants live in there, healthily grow, and will grow so much that you have to harvest them, Like our previous office that we did, it's been 3 months and we're already harvesting the plants. Like we have a box that's worth $300 where the staff get to take back with them, They were so happy they unboxed all these leaves and like syngoniums and anthuriums. They get to bring back home with them. And it creates this small plant community in the office also. For those who don't like plants becoming like, oh, what's the next plant you want to give away? So when the plants grow in the office really well, it starts something for the people in there. And yeah, it's very weirdly back to community in a sense, like people have their own community of plants in the office. So my goal is to beautify offices but also make the plants happy. Ultimately, it makes the people happy at the end. Okay, so this plot is actually a greenhouse. If you come to Punggol, the entire space is filled with greenhouses, so we had to choose our greenhouse. The reason why we chose this greenhouse is because this is where we used to be a year ago. We had a plot in Punggol last time, and then we had to move up to because of some landlord issues, and then now we're back at the same exact spot. So we chose this spot because it brings us old memories of Littlebotany in Punggol last time. So you all have this greenhouse. If you look around, you see all these canvases here. These are meant for UV protection so that we don't get our sunburn in here. And on top of that, you can see there's black netting here. These are called aluminets, so they bounce back the heat so you don't get the heat inside here. Even though I'm sweating right now, it's actually a lot cooler than expected. So you can see all the canvas. This is where it bounces the heat out and also give us a UV protection. I think that's important, especially if I'm working here. And if I want to look good in my 40s and 50s, I have to, protect myself from the sun. The front part where we are now is where it gets the most sun. So all the sun-loving plants will be at the first shelf all the way to here. So right from the door all the way to here, this is where the full sun stops at. And right where the full sun stops, this is where all the bright indirect plants will start. So you can see all the arrows are here and all the bright indirect lights will go all the way to the end. And at the end, that's where there's a bit of sun, that's where all the cactus and succulents are. So we built in a way where we can have 3 different kind of plants for different kind of light, like full sun, bright indirect and shade. I think tips for budding entrepreneurs. I think number one is to save a lot of money. I think passion can be expensive. The money will last you after a while, but your passion will really last you forever. So first, save some money, follow your passion, and after that, I just write down things that I want to achieve, like every few weeks or months. For me, it's more even I even draw. I literally draw how I want my farm to look like in the future, or how I want to do a future project to do like, you know. So these are things that I do personally. So drawing, writing things that you want to achieve really helps a lot. It makes you look at it and hey, and tick it off your list. And I know it's very cringe and very corny, but the passion is the only thing that make you really last in any industry that you want to start a business with. And most importantly, you must love what you do, because if you don't love plants or you don't love food, for example, and you shouldn't be running a plant store or a food business. So it's things that you love that kind of really pushes you to really learn more and expand and grow as a person and also as a business. And that will be long lasting as an entrepreneur. I do have a philosophy in life. I never thought I had one until today, until this conversation with you guys. But I think my philosophy is just getting through the day. We have big dreams and big futures, but I have plans ahead. But I think the challenge is just to get today finished with, you know. And if you go day by day, you actually finish your goal eventually. So my philosophy is, you know, just finish your day and end it well, because like, and then you can continue the next day and start afresh. And before you know it, you reach your goal. Yeah.